Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am here with you guys to sit down and let's chat for a bit. So, get you a cup of coffee, a soda, whatever. We're going to talk, and I really think that this story time is going to be something that is going to be a story that not only is going to be interesting, but it's something that a lot of people over the years have asked me about, like, do you ever encounter situations like this? That situation would be being afraid because of my blindness. Are you afraid of, someone stalking you or following you or looking at you, walking behind you and you can't see where they are? So there's all of these fears. People say, do you ever allow those fears to overwhelm you and to get to you? So we're going to tell this story. I was talking to my daughters last night, and I have told them this story. They don't remember this story, but they were 1 and 4 years old when this happened. And last night, we were talking about all the different stories that I could share with you all, and this is the one that they really thought, and so did I feel it was a really important. But yeah, so back when they were little, I had limited eyesight. I have been completely blind for 14 and a half years, have no eyesight anymore, no light perception. These eyes are fake. And ever since I was 3 years old up until 14 and a half years ago, I had this just very little amount of eyesight in this one eye. So I could see shapes and colors and movements within a couple of feet. And even when my girls were little, I used to push them in a stroller. No one would even know that I was visually impaired. Well, I felt like I was more than visually impaired because I was completely blind in one eye and I couldn't see out of the other. That's literally what I used to tell people. People would ask me, so how much can you see? And I'm like, how much can I not see? I'm like, I'm blind in one eye and girl can't see out of the other either. So, but you know what? Even though that was my sight, we need a whole other video just to talk about my acceptance of my blindness, and that we'll say that for another day. But as as a mom, I also was very determined to not allow my loss of eyesight to keep me from being an amazing, independent, confident mom. I wanted to be a mom just like anybody else, and that included going on a light rail train with my babies with that little bit of eyesight, pushing them in a double stroller in downtown Portland, Pioneer Square, and going shopping at the mall. I love shopping. My friend Amanda's filming. She's laughing. Yes, I love shopping. You look at me. Yes, I love shopping. It's one of my favorite downtimes, pastime. I don't know. Blind times. I love it. My daughters and we love shopping, so we went downtown Portland this day. It was around Christmas time. And I remember this day really well. I even remember what I had on. Is that crazy? I was thinking about this as I was getting ready to film. I'm going, oh my God. My visual memories are still there, and I don't even have a single photo of that day, so it's like, I just remember being in the moment. And I remember I had curled my hair that day, and it looked so beautiful, and then I had this pretty burgundy fitted sweater, like a sweater dress with tights and booties. Anyway, and my girls look so cute and so precious. I always dress them alike. And my husband worked downtown Portland, down on the Pioneer Square. So my plan was, we're going to go down there. We're going to do a little shopping. We're going to go see Daddy, and then we'll go home with Daddy. Well, as I got off the train and we were walking down the sidewalk in Pioneer Square, and there's lots happening. You have people playing instruments, drums on the street, and all these noises. And it was Christmas, so like I said, Pioneer Square, there was carolers. I remember the big tree. I couldn't see things very well, but I could see enough to see lights, right? And it was just really fun. I remember taking the girls and I pushed them in the stroller next to Pioneer Square where all the festivities were happening with the singers and the tree. And there was a kids choir singing. And I let the girls kind of enjoy the moment. And then I'm like, okay, let's go shopping and then we'll come back, you know. And so I started pushing the girls down the sidewalk, and we were going towards the mall. And there was a lot of people walking with us, and we got to this corner where we had to cross over the street to get to the mall. And this was always the hardest part for me because there was lots of people, and in Portland, a lot of people, at least back then, jaywalked. And that was really hard for me being blind, because I'm like, no, I don't like it when y'all are crossing. And then people tell me, oh, you can cross. I'm like, no, I have my babies to watch out for, myself. I'm not going to take somebody else's word. I want to cross with my parallel traffic, but sometimes there's never the traffic flowing next to me to even gauge when it's safe to cross. So I was watching the light, and you know, like the hand, I'm putting up my hand, you know, the hand stop and it's red, and then they would have like a green, is it the green walking man? Yeah, something like that, right? And I was, and like I said, it's only in this one eye that I could see anything out. And I'm right now, I'm envisioning being on the corner in the moment, and I'm looking up, trying to find that hand, that green guy, and the light, it was too bright. It was too hard for me to see the contrast. And, you know, of course, I can't ask like my girls or anything like that. Like, hey, I'm going to ask my 4-year-old, hey, do you see the green man? Tell me when you do, because we're going. So anyway, I was looking and I was like, okay, I saw it. And then there was all these people around me. And then actually someone's like, yeah, I said to someone, is it good? And they're like, yeah. So we crossed, and then we got to the mall. And as I walked into the glass doors in the mall, and I'm going towards the elevator, like we always do, and this guy, as I got into the elevator, he ran in with me, and the doors were about to close, and he came in with me. And I'm like, okay. And then he goes, excuse me. He goes, hi. He goes, this is what you don't want to say to a blind girl or a blind person. He said to me, I've been following you. And I'm like, what? Yeah, like these are things you just don't want to say to somebody. I'm in an elevator by myself with my babies, and here's this crazy guy comes in. He's like, I've been following you like all the way since Pioneer Square. And I'm like, well, that just inside, I'm like, that terrifies me. And I grabbed my cell phone, and I opened, it was flip phone days, I opened my phone, and I had my husband on speed, you know, like number one, I was going to hold and call him. And I just was waiting. And he goes, yeah, you're really beautiful. And I'm like, oh God, please get me down, let these doors open. And he continued to talk to me. He's like, do you have a visual impairment? Or he goes, do you have a sight problem? And I'm like, well, how would he even know that I had a sight problem? I didn't have a cane. I'm pushing a stroller. And then I was like, how do I answer this? And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, because I saw you really struggling to see the light at the intersection. You were struggling to know when to cross. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I can't see very well. And then I got out of the elevator, and I was like, Lord, just let me get away from this guy. And I'm pushing my babies, and I'm walking down the mall, and he wouldn't leave me alone. And he kept like following me, and he kept talking to me. And I'm just like, what do I do? Like, I want to get him away from me. And I said, excuse me, I gotta go. I gotta take care of my babies, and I'm really busy. And so he's like, okay. And then he's like, well, can I ask you one more question? He goes, are you married? And I'm like, yes, I'm married. And so, and I'm like, all right, bye. And I go into a store, and it was a store that I've gone into a lot. And I went up to the counter, and I said, listen, there is some guy who is following me, and he's been following me, you know, for quite some time. He told me, and I'm afraid that he's going to be following me throughout the time I'm here in the mall. And I don't know, I couldn't see him. This is the thing. I could not see enough to even identify him. Yeah, so, you know, I could see to push my girls, you know, in the mall, but I could not see people who were standing literally next to me in an elevator. I couldn't say what he had on, what color shirt he had on, what color hair he had, couldn't tell you anything. So I didn't even really know what to do except to say, can you go outside the store and just look around and see if there's a guy standing out there, like looking into the store. They did, and they said they didn't see anybody. And so I then called my husband, and I told my husband what had happened, and I was so scared, and I didn't even want to go shopping now because it ruined my day. And because all I was going to do is be thinking like, he's going to be following me and looking at me and who knows doing what. And so my husband ended up coming to the mall and meeting us and getting us. But that was just a really crazy encounter for me. And it did put a lot of fear in me, just because even with a little bit of eyesight, it was not enough to protect myself. And so I know that a lot of blind individuals, we go through that. And getting my guide dog in 2009, my first guide dog, that did give me a lot of comfort, knowing that she was, going to hopefully deter anyone from doing anything, say anything, coming and approaching me. These are just real life moments. And I'm just grateful that we were all okay. I've had another encounter as well before I even had kids, where another guy was following me in his truck, and he parked in a parking spot as I was walking down the sidewalk, and he approached me and asked me for my number, and it was just scary. I continued to walk and called my husband and got to my apartment office and went in there and had them walk me to my home, and I locked my door. But it's just instances like that I don't allow. Like I said, I don't live in fear. I just wanted to share those stories with you because they are real situations that people who without eyesight really, we do have to worry about. But I don't allow those things and those stories and those encounters and the possibility of anything like that happening to me. I don't allow it to keep me from living my life with freedom, with joy, and with purpose. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that story time. I have a lot of more upbeat, fun stories to share with you guys. So let me know if you would love to hear more joy story times, because there's more and more and more and more. And I find that I have more stories every day because I'm never going back. I'm always staying blind. So there's more blind stories to come. Every day is a story to share. All right, bye.